Imagine there is an organization that owns shares in almost every major company in the world, from Apple and Microsoft to Nestle and Toyota. And that organization controls 1.5% of all the stock on the planet. Unbelievable. Meanwhile, such a unique structure does exist. It is the Government Pension Fund of Norway. The Government Pension Fund of Norway, also known as the Oil Fund, was founded in 1990 to manage the country's revenues from offshore oil and gas production in the North Sea. These unique fields have made Norway one of the largest energy exporters. Over the decades, the oil fund has grown into the world's largest sovereign wealth fund, controlling more than $1.3 trillion in assets. That's almost 1.5% of the entire global stock market. Thus, this fund, owned by only 5 million Norwegians, owns stakes in virtually every significant public company on the planet. The fund makes global equity investments in the world's largest corporations in order to secure the future pensions of Norwegians. This is a unique example of managing national wealth for the benefit of citizens. The Norwegian Oil Fund is among the top 10 shareholders of giants such as Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Samsung, Nestle, Toyota, ExxonMobil, and hundreds of other thriving global corporations. The total number of companies whose shares the fund owns exceeds 9,300 across the globe. The fund has acquired major stakes in the world's leading corporations, investing tens of billions of dollars. For example, the fund invested $37.5 billion in Apple and Microsoft alone. This is a colossal investment even by the standards of these giants. Such investments in the leaders of world business allow the fund to receive a stable income in the form of dividends and growth in the value of shares. These funds are used to build up capital to pay pensions to Norwegians. The strategy of the Norway Oil Fund involves careful diversification and long-term investments in assets around the world. About 40% of the portfolio consists of shares of American companies, 35% European companies. The fund also actively invests in Asian, Australian, Canadian, and other assets. The fund invests in a wide range of industries, from high-tech, such as IT, to traditional industries, such as oil and gas and banking. Such diversification by countries and economic sectors allows minimizing risks and not depending on the dynamics of any one market or industry. This is extremely important for the stability of the fund. An interesting fact is that the Norwegian Oil Fund owns a 25% stake in the British company Shaftesbury, specializing in luxury real estate in the center of London. This is the largest stake the fund has in any single company. Shaftesbury owns an extensive portfolio of fashionable assets in the heart of London, in such prestigious areas as Soho, Covent Garden, Piccadilly. These properties in the heart of the British capital are extremely expensive and attractive to tenants. The fund sees great potential in this niche company and continues to build its stake in it. Shaftesbury is one of the best examples of skillful selection of promising assets for investment. If you want to manage your assets with the same proficiency, I would like to introduce to you the OWL Smart Levels Indicator. The rules of building market entry points are based on the basic fundamentals of stock trading. So you can use the OWL Smart Levels Indicator to find entry points in Forex, metals, futures, and even cryptocurrencies. And the training system of 11 lessons will allow you to quickly understand how to use the indicator. You can learn more and purchase the OWL Smart Levels Indicator on the Trading Robots and Indicators Marketplace, mql5.com. I will attach the link in the description of this video. And now I will continue the story about the world's largest pension fund. An important part of the Norwegian fund's strategy is an ethical approach to investments. The fund does not invest in the arms industry, alcohol and tobacco producers, or companies that damage the environment. This allows the fund to maintain its impeccable reputation and follow the principles of responsible investing. Also, the fund does not invest in companies that are involved in corruption, human rights violations, or produce products that are harmful to health. The Norwegian fund is the world's largest institutional investor that adheres to ESG, environmental, social, and governance principles when investing. This is another aspect of the fund's uniqueness on the world stage. Unfortunately, even this colossal fund is not immune to losses during periods of stock market turmoil. In 2022, the Norwegian Oil Fund lost a record $140 billion, or 13.7% of the value of its assets, due to the collapse of the markets. This is the worst result in the fund's 30-year history, caused by a perfect storm: the COVID-19 pandemic, the war in Ukraine, unprecedented inflation, and a sharp rise in global interest rates. However, thanks to the fund's colossal trillion-dollar size and forward-thinking investment strategy, the current losses will not put Norwegians' pensions at risk. The fund remains highly resilient. By wisely managing the country's resources through the oil fund, the Norwegian government has ensured that its citizens have decent pensions for decades to come, even as the population ages. The average life expectancy in Norway is about 82 years, one of the highest in the world. Citizens retire at age 67, although many continue to work into their 70s. The system encourages employment for the elderly. The minimum pension in Norway is one of the highest in the world, $1,765 a month. To receive such a pension, it is enough to work for 3 years. Thanks to the oil fund, Norwegians can be confident about their financial future for decades to come. Thus, the Government Pension Fund of Norway is a unique example of prudent management of national wealth for the sake of the future of the country and its citizens. The Norwegian experience demonstrates how wise government decisions can turn natural resources into a reliable long-term source of wealth for people. The strategy of the authorities in the Nordic country has been very far-sighted. Thanks to the competent policy of the Norwegian government, the citizens of the country can be sure of their financial future and decent pensions for many years to come. The Norwegian State Pension Fund is rightly considered one of the greatest achievements in the modern world in the sphere of effective management of national wealth in the public interest.